What is social advocacy? Anyone who have an idea? What is social advocacy? Anyone who would like to share? What is your idea about social advocacy? Anyone? Pag sinabi natin social advocacy, what comes to your mind or what is your idea about social advocacy? Hello? Waray? Yes, Joshua? To promote social change. Okay, yes, no? It's correct. Promote social change. What else? About the others? What is social advocacy for you? Anyone? Anyone who would like to share?
Sir,
Yes, John.
um, ah, tagsa-tagsa nga katungod, sir. Individual rights.
Individual rights. Okay.
Yes, sir.
John, are you a regular student?
Yes, sir. Irregular, sir.
Yes, no, kay baga sumulog kahapon. You are with me in my understanding the self class, di ba? Also,
Yes, sir.
okay, good.
Tikangan pagtikang, sir.
Ano nga tikang ang pagtikang?
Han GC, sir.
Okay, sige. Good. Who else? Sino pa yung gusto magsalita? What is your idea about social advocacy? Alright na? Wala na ba? Sige. So, I have here a lot of definitions or explanations with regards to social advocacy, but let's just try to study three definitions with regards to social advocacy. All of them naman, all of them uh, all of them naman tends to uh, discuss or you know it gives an idea about social advocacy. So the first one, when we speak about social advocacy, it is to advance the interests of social justice, particularly on behalf of populations or groups that have been disadvantaged, disempowered, or discriminated against. Okay? So with social advocacy, we can help to advance the interest of social justice to whom? To those who are disadvantaged, to those who are being disempowered, and for those individuals who are being discriminated. Right? Because a lot of people today, so waray nira no, waray nira sinisiring social justice. A lot of them are being discriminated because of how it looks, especially with our disabled brothers and sisters. So all of them needs to have this social advocacy. And this is the definition of social advocacy: to advance the interests of social justice, particularly on behalf of populations or groups that have been disadvantaged, disempowered, or discriminated against. Now, another definition with social advocacy is about helping you to speak up for yourself, to make sure that your views and opinions are here, are heard and understood. Okay? With social advocacy, it helps you to speak up for yourself. Sometimes we cannot speak up for ourselves because maybe we are shy, maybe you have this anxiety that whenever we speak to someone, so diri kita na kaya kanin maupay. With social advocacy, it helps you to speak up for yourself, to make sure that your views, your opinions, your ideas are being heard and being understood by someone. And the last thing here, okay, social advocacy, when someone supports you to speak up or speaks on your behalf to help you get what you are entitled to. So with social advocacy, it helps you again to speak up for yourself and to speak up what you are being entitled to. Okay? If you're entitled to know your rights, if you're entitled to know your uh to know I mean okay, to have your freedom of speech, siguro. So, with social advocacy, it speaks up for yourself. It helps you to speak up for your self, to speak up for your concern, to speak up for your problems. So, that is about social advocacy. It helps you to, you know, it helps you to understand your views. It helps you to advocate. Okay? So it is for the disadvantaged, disempowered, discriminated against, underprivileged, oppressed, and those who are being disadvantaged. Okay? Now, so that's about for social advocacy. We have here different types of advocacy naman. So we have here the first one. So we have individual advocacy. Here, in this individual advocacy, the advocate concentrates their efforts on one or two people only. Okay? Since it is individual, it focuses lang on on one or two people. So there are two common forms of individual advocacy. We have informal and voluntary community-based organizations. So when we speak about informal advocacy under individual advocacy, so we have here like parents, like brothers and sisters, relatives, friends who take on advocacy roles are all examples of informal individual advocacy. Okay? So, if ikaw, as a student, if you have an advocacy, you may belong here as individual advocacy and in for, you belong here in formal advocacy under individual advocacy. Okay? So, individual advocacy efforts can and do last many years, often in significant isolation. Then we have also voluntary community base. So it pays staff to advocate for individuals. So ini nga voluntary community-based organizations, so they pay staff or they pay someone to advocate for individuals. Okay? So you pay someone to advocate for others or for other individuals. Then we have also citizen advocacy. So when we speak about citizen advocacy, it's a community-based movement that aims to recognize, promote, and defend the rights, well-being, and interests of people with intellectual and or multiple disabilities. Okay? So, when we speak about citizen, it's a community-based movement. Since it is a community-based movement, it uh, it promote and defend the rights not only for a singular person but for many person. Okay? So the well-being and interest of people with intellectual and or multiple disabilities. So that's about for citizen. Okay? So the movement that aims to recognize, promote, and defend the rights for the interest of people. Now, we have also the systems advocacy. So primarily concerned with influencing and changing the system, like the legislation or policy and practices in ways that will benefit people with a disability as a group within society. So if you think that, okay, in your barangay or in your current place, if you think that the policy and the practices and the rules are not being exercised well, you may have this systems advocacy in order to, influence, okay, in changing about the system that being exercised, especially if the system is not being inclusion, okay, meaning to say that if the system is may dagin pipilian, or if the system are being biased, okay, because the system should be about for everyone, it should be an inclusion system. Okay, now fourth, we have also the parent advocacy. So ano ba yung parent advocacy, sir? So it concerned with advocating on issues that affect the person with a disability and their family. The focus is on the needs of the person with a disability, not the parents or family. So although it is called parent advocacy, it does not focus on the parent itself, but it focuses on the needs of the person with a disability in the family. Okay, so the focus is not the parent itself, but the focus is on the person. Okay, it focus on the person with a disability. Now, for the last one, we have the self or the peer advocacy. So, the difficulty with this form of advocacy is that sometimes those undertaking advocacy and speaking up for themselves are likely to be further exposed and be more vulnerable to abuse, discrimination, and ridicule as a result of speaking up for themselves. Somehow, ining self and peer advocacy is not being very advisable na ginagamit because sometimes maybe your conflict with other person may be used, okay, may be used uh for for being discriminated, okay, bahin kagabay ma-expose, okay, ma-expose sa ning tinatago nga diri mag-upay. So it will have a conflict on the advocacy that you are fighting for. Now, we have the key elements of advocacy. So we have here the functioning by speaking up, acting, or writing. Of course, if you are an advocator of something or for someone, you need to be active. It involves doing something. Because siring pa man, if you are an advocator, you're not just speaking up for yourself, but you're speaking on behalf of the person nga nagpapabulig ka imo. Okay? Then minimal conflict of interests. Okay? So you need to be clear as to how your interests and needs may be in conflict with the person for whom you are advocating. So of course, very important if you are an advocator, you need you just need dapat may dakala minimal conflict of interest. Okay, somehow if you have a conflict of interest with other persons, again and again, maybe it could be used against you. Okay? So, baga mawawarayan ka yung paglaom, tungod imo conflict of interest towards other person. Now, third, we have sincerely perceived interests. Identifying what is in a person's interests, what they need versus what they want is a difficult process. The advocate does not just speak up for what a person may want or what a person may be interested in. Okay? So that is for sincerely perceived interests. For promotion of person's welfare, well-being, and justice. So as an advocate, we do this precisely because the well-being of and justice for disadvantaged, devalued person is often risk. Okay? So this is naman the goal, no? The goal of advocacy somehow, the promotion of persons' welfare. Okay? So we should always promote the the welfare of every person, the well-being, and to give justice. Okay? And of course, fifth, vigor of action. So advocacy requires uh, taking a lead, initiating, sense of urgency, challenging the community. Okay? Challenging the community. Of course, advocacy requires taking a lead. You need to lead, no? You need to take a lead. You need to initiate some programs if you have. You need to have a sense of urgency. Maybe it is urgent to, to solve the problem as soon as possible. Okay? That is number number five. Then of course we have costs. Okay? It's not just the payment itself, but it is the cost na iyong magagasto during the process of advocacy. Okay? Diri mamalit pagdaop han mga may advokasya, pero it will cost you for for other purposes. Okay? So it demands also of some money. Okay? The cost element of advocacy reflects the demands of all strong advocacy, whether for people with a disability or advocacy for another purpose, like for instance, environmental causes. People with disability need advocates who are prepared and able to be there for a long haul. So that's about the key elements of advocacy that you need to consider. Then we have also here, okay, an advocate. So an advocate can help you by that one, no? Going to a meeting with you, making a phone call for you, helping you to write a letter or writing a letter with you, helping you to send or write email, speaking for you, listening to you so they can understand your concerns, and speaking for you about your worries or about a particular problem. Okay? So the advocate may help you in many ways. So what are the benefits of advocacy? So it will help your voice to be heard. It will give you information, support, and a service to help you make choices. Also, it will help you to get people to understand your point of view. It can make it easier for you to get information in a way that you can understand. It will help you to see what other services are available. It will help you choose what you want to do. And of course, it is a free and confidential service. Okay? So, ito yung mga benefits ng advocacy natin. Then, we have also advocacy can help people to make their own views and wishes clear. help with expressing their views effectively, represent their views faithfully and effectively, and get independent and accurate information, and help different viewpoints to be heard. Okay, so of course, last thing, advocacy is not. Okay, advocacy is not being a friend or counselor. So it's not just your friend or being a counselor to you, but it will fight what you are fighting for. Okay, the advocacy will help you on what you are entitled to. Okay, entitled to, and what you are fighting for to help you gain your rights, to help you know your rights well, no? Uh, to promote social justice and many more. So it's not being a friend or counselor that will give you an advice, then it's the end now. But advocacy will help you to promote the rights, okay, of those who are being disadvantaged, disempowered, discriminated against. Of course, it's not persuading the person to agree with others. Okay? It's not about persuading kakaibang tao. It's not just you're persuading na matuod rahay mo, mag-agree rahay mo, bisan sa'yo ka. It's not like that. Then it's not also the advocate deciding what is in the person's best interests. It's not like that. It's not complaining. It's not campaigning. It's not providing social support. So it's not about interpreting for a person whose first language is not English. So they rito na no? Gini mga translator, it's not like that. Advocacy is not like that. It's not also a mediation service, and it's not a long-term service. Okay? So any questions so far with the social advocacy, guys?
And so far, sir.
None, sir.
How about the others?
None so far.
Okay. Let's talk now the national development. Now, when you speak about national development, it's the ability of a country or countries to improve the social welfare of the people. Like, for instance, by providing social amenities like quality education, potable water, transportation, infrastructure, medical care, etc. Okay? The National Economic and Development Authority or Pabansang Pangasiwaan sa Kabuhayan at Pagpapaunlad, or what we call NEDA, is an independent cabinet level agency of the Philippine government responsible for economic development and planning. Okay? So, again, ano yung pinakaunang role ng NEDA? It is to improve the social welfare of the people, and they are also responsible for our economic development and planning for the future. Okay? Sila yung responsible sa pagpapaunlad ng mga buhay natin. Okay? Pagkakaroon ng masaganang pamumuhay. Now, who are the members of the NEDA? Because since it is an independent cabinet level agency. Since it is an agency, there are individuals who are involved here. So, the board is composed with the NEDA. The board is composed of the president as the chairman. Of course, no? Our beloved president is the chairman of our NEDA. Then we have also the secretary of socio-economic planning and the NEDA director general as vice chairman. And the following are the members. So the members are the executive secretary, and the Secretaries of Finance, Trade and Industry, Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, Public Works and Highways, Budget and Management, Labor and Employment, and Interior and Local Government. So sila yung mga members under the NEDA or the National Economic and Development Authority who are responsible for the social welfare, I mean for the improve of the social welfare of the people and responsible for economic development and for the planning for the future. Nakakasunod pa, guys? Nakakasabay? Hello? Aya pa? Hello? Uy, Paton.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, I have here some examples of social advocacies in the Philippines. Okay, so here are some social advocacies in the Philippines. So there are a lot of social advocacies in the Philippines right now. Okay, so a lot of them na, and each of advocacy has as a goal. Okay, meron nila sinisiring na goal or purpose of such advocacy. So I have here some list of examples who are also present, okay, present in different social advocacies in the Philippines. Now, for number one, we have the Center for Migrant Advocacy Philippines, or the CMA Philippines. Okay, so what is this? So it's an advocacy group that promotes the rights of overseas Filipinos, land or sea-based migrant workers, and Filipino immigrants under families. The center works to help improve the economic, social, and political conditions of migrant Filipino families everywhere through policy advocacy, information dissemination, networking, capability building, and direct assistance. Okay? So, if you know someone that is struggling their life, nagkukuringan to ka ibang mga bansa because of politics maybe, because of their workplace, because of their bosses. So uh, you can, what you call this, you can go this advocacy, no? Because it concerns for our concerns about our overseas Filipino workers, okay, land or seaman, and our Filipino immigrants also are living in another country. Now, for number two, secondly, we have the Customer Experience Philippines. Believes that Philippine consumers deserve nothing short of great customer service. To help you know your rights as a consumer, and we are an information how to help you save time on your next inquiry or application. To change the face of Filipino customer service for ever, no? Forever. Forever. So with this, if you have some problems in some stores, kaya diri ka mong tindera rin maupay, diri ka mong accommodate in maupay. So, pwede ka mo dumao pining advocacy. Okay? Because they believe that consumers deserve nothing short of great customer service. We also have the Philippine College of Physicians. So what's the goal of this? What's the goal of this? It is to ensure effective public health literacy on tobacco use as a medical condition or illness, patient empowerment, and eventually a decrease in mortality and morbidity in the country. So ini nga PCP focuses on giving knowledge or literacy to those who are using tobacco, okay? Because uh, nagkakamay dahil increase of death rate. So with this public health literacy, so magkakamay din nalahin GUTI, okay? A decrease in mortality and morbidity in the country. We also have green architecture movement of the United Architects of the Philippines. So what's the goal of this advocacy? Of course, it's for environmental awareness, and green architecture are the catch that suddenly seems to have flooded in the media. It has become fashionable to be green. Through green architecture, it would help us in taking good care of our planet. So, the goal of this, okay, since it is for the green architecture, so it encourage architects to build a different structure with the color green. Okay, why green? Because green promotes environmental awareness and it would help us taking good care of our planet. Next, we have justice and advocacy. Philippine human, no, justice and advocacy, Philippine human rights. Okay, may napanasulod, but di ko napapasudlon, ano? Ano na nga oras? Sorry for them. So, with justice and advocacy and Philippine human rights, work with the National Council of Churches in the Philippines and advocacy to raise awareness and speak out on the human rights abuses. So, since it is Philippine human rights, it's raise awareness and speaking out with regards to the human rights abuses. Then we have also reproductive health advocacy Philippines. So with this advocacy, the goal is uh, to have also effective public health literacy with regards to the reproductive health because nagtitikada mo na tao, so it's time to educate our the parents to have family planning. Another is the Center for Environmental Concerns of Philippines, helping communities address environmental challenges. Okay, we work to cultivate environmental awareness and action, create a community of advocates, and contribute to the defense of ecosystems. So from the name itself, it is for the awareness, centered on the awareness for our environment. Okay, we have also Filipino advocates for justice. So our work is grounded in the spirit of bayanihan. Over the years, we have been an advocate for immigrant and civil rights for the Filipino communities and serve the more vulnerable in our community by helping recent arrivals, youth and low-wage workers navigate the challenges and hurdles of life in the U.S. So it advocates justice for our Filipino. It advocates justice for everyone since we are naman Filipino, ano? So it advocates a justice for the Filipinos. Okay? So like for the recent arrivals of our Filipino workers, Okay, for those who are youth and have low wage workers. Okay, so that's it. We have also Philippine Foundation for the rehabilitation of the disabled. Of course, to help those who are rehabilitating, especially for those who are disabled person. Okay, address the needs of disabled persons. Then we have also advocates for children and elders international. So of course, from the name itself, it advocates for the well-being, for the human welfare and development of our children and our elders internationally. And the last one we have here, we can be anything. It is an education advocacy campaign born of a partnership between the Apple the App Foundation and the Ninoy and Cory Aquino Foundation. What's the goal of this advocacy? We can be anything. The goal is to help improve the education situation in the Philippines. To tell young Filipinos that he was able to go so far in life because he got an education. To deliver this message, he has composed the song We Can Be. Okay, so you can watch the video in YouTube entitled We Can Be. It's very much beautiful. It's an advocacy to help improve the education situation in the Philippines and telling young Filipinos no that if you are have an education, if you have an education, you can go so far, or you have the ability to go so far in life because you have an education. Yes, Jean-Marie, you're raising your hand. Do you have some concern?
Yes, sir. Ito, sir, exit na ako, sir, kaya may klase lot ako, sir.
Okay, sige. Good. Thank you. And that's the end, guys. Any
Thank
questions so far?
None for me,
That's the end.
sir.
Social advocacy.
None, sir.
How about the others?
None, sir.
None, sir.
Yes, sir.
May di pa nasulod no, alas dos na. At klase alauna, alas dos na nasulod. Diri maupay. Oh, damo pat nakakasulod. Bala kayo. Anyway. Anyway. Any question, guys? Wala na? How about the others?
We will finish the answer
The copy of the presentation, it's not yet done, ano? Sunod na lang.
thank you.
Anak, gin-discuss naman, it's in your LMS. So no need for me to send ngayon. All of my discussions are coming from your LMS. I mean, coming from our LMS.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
How about the others? Now,
Para
we have
ilagay
here,
ako ng
no?
LMS, sir.
Wala lagyan po ng LMS na iba? Sige, ulat-ulat lang mo. Again, no? As I have told you before, the goal or our, the goal of this Nstp 2 is to have our community immersion. So I want to present to you our t-shirt on tano nga that will be utilized during our immersion and during also on your graduation day soon. Okay? I'll t-shirt. Okay? So this is our t-shirt, no, the color, the logo, and your name at the back. Okay, this will be utilized again during our immersion and during your graduation day. This will be our uniform. Any question with this, guys? Price, sir. Pagpera, sir. Okay? Ginhimo ko nalagyan po ini nga tawag ini nakakalimut akong term. Okay? The price is 220 lang. Okay? Friendly price lang tayo. Okay? So, deadline as soon as possible because ang t-shirt is i-order pa ha Manila. So, para diri kita maiyaan. So, para gyapon kita makaka-order na gihapon. Okay lang, guys. Okay lang ba yung
Kilo,
price?
sir.
Okay lang, sir.
Okay. Again, no, this will be utilized
Din man, sir,
magamit
ito
ini
napalit, sir.
naton. Yes, Jerome? Ano?
Din napalit ito, sir. O, din nabayad or napalit.
May dana niyo kuan, may dana niyo treasurer, waray pa. Waray pa ka mo officer,
Wala pa yata,
Aray pa,
sir.
sir.
waray pa yata na, waray pa dahil sir siya nagkuanti officer. But anyway, as kuan lanay, okay, kung may dana ka mo, ibarayad to 20 no, give it lang muna to Jerome Marino. Okay lang Jerome, ikaw mag-collect.
Hello, sir. Ayaw, sir.
Ay, not pwede mag-collect. Ay, not pwede mag-collect. In-year? Inot pwede. Waray. Kay para paghataga ako, kompleto na nga tanan. Ikaw na lang, Faith. Faith? Can we collect Faith? Faith. Hello, Faith.
Hello, sir.
You will be the one that collect. You will be the one who will collect the payments of your classmates. Okay lang ba?
Sure, sir. Sige po.
Okay, no? So, yun na. Okay na, no? Si Simon Faith na lang. So, price 220. Okay, 220 lang because and Subrito will be used as our funds. Okay? Will utilize nato mga gastuson gihapon. Okay? Again, no? Ihatag niyo kan Faith it iyo bayad. So that Faith will give me your payments. Again, Faith ano, before ni may gataga akong please, kailangan kompleto nga tanan para diri ako malilipat. Okay lang. Uy.
With mga sizes ito, sir.
Yung mga sizes, ma-message na lang ako, bro. Kahit nabibiling pa yung mga sizes at sample t-shirts. But I will be working on that naman, no?
Okay, sir.
Kalma lang. Itato ni immersion December pagad medyo maya pa pero mas maupay na may dana akong t-shirt no kaya para din ta mo problema na para ta atong problema ang sunod is on how we implement our project proposal. So any question? Okay na? Waray na na.
None, sir.
Sige, kung waray na,
Yes,
can they
sir.
open your, yes, Faith, you have some question?
Sana po't deadline doon, sir?
Deadline, there is no deadline. The deadline is as soon as possible. Okay? Ang iba nga mga waray nga di,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
pamagpakyaan na when is deadline? ASAP. Okay? Para kita makaka-order dayon. Okay, kaya di lang kasi via plain t-shirt, kaya kung plain t-shirt la, madali na pag-order ng niya takloban. Pwede ito, no? But since maya the follower taton, okay? So, that's it. Okay lang ba yung design ng color natin for the t-shirt? If you will ask me, why, sir, why blue? Kay blue aton logo is CLC. Kay makuri mag-yellow kita, iba na itong eskwelahan. Okay, itong yellow, LNU na. Okay. Start na lang buwas pag-collect since face-to-face man daw buwas. Okay? Maybe, no? You can start collecting na. Of course, sa aton may dana pambayad. Okay na? Sige, can you open your camera guys for a documentation? And sorry for those students, wala na akong pasudlan na. Kaya ano na nga oras yan na. Kung susulod pala, so baga di rin makatarungan. And I will give activity ano. So your activity will be posted later on. So kindly refer na lang to your Google Classroom for your activity in this subject. Okay, how about the others? Can they open your camera? Sige, na count of 1, 2, 3. Okay, that will be all lang muna guys. Thank you and goodbye and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Bye, sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.